Yo, what up, YouTube? Your boy Knowledge of Self-Determination. So, I'm here today because I wanted to address this issue. I know a lot of people don't want to say something or go on record criticizing the LGBTQXYZ community, the alphabet community, basically, is what I'm referring to as the alphabet community. People don't want to go at them like that because they are now a protected group, and anything you say about them could be considered hate speech and all that kind of shit, right? But I'm not saying anything disparaging or disrespectful towards any individual, just the group itself, and what I find appalling about white America, white supremacy, and their continued ignorance and methods of ignoring black issues. Now, this book right here is called The Gay BCs. Now, I saw this on Fly Nubian Queen. They had did a report about this. I didn't actually watch the video because, uh, but or rather, it wasn't on Fly Nubian Queen. My apologies. It just actually showed up in my YouTube feed. Actually, let me look at my phone real quick because it could have had the Fly Nubian Queen. Well, in any event, I saw it while it was in my YouTube feed. So this is what I want to say. Why in the fuck is it more important for white people to teach kids about being gay, gay people, transsexuals, being a transsexual, being and homosexual sex? Why the fuck is it more important for America and white people and white supremacy? Now I'm saying white people because again, they aren't arguing against this. They aren't speaking out against this. But what white people will speak out against is true history being taught in the schools. They still perpetuate the lie that Columbus discovered America when we know that there were already people existing on the continent of North America before Columbus bore his crusty, pasty face ass to the Western Hemisphere. He himself never actually landed on, touched ground onto the North American continent, so he didn't discover shit. But white America continues to teach that bullshit, right? We have schools with the Christian fundamentalist right literally trying to insert that uh, the Ten Commandments and the Constitution were all written by Moses, or rather, the Ten Commandments inspired the Constitution of America, which is blatantly absurd, patently absurd. You know what I'm saying? And amongst other things, they are taking black people out of history, literally just whiting us out of history, whiting us out of history, taking us out of history. You know, renaming groups and organizations and shit like that. The KKK are now, social justice or advocates, while the Black Panthers were actually considered a social terrorist group. Get the fuck out of here, man. Are you kidding me? Now we have people, historians in our community. Like, let's take Dr. Ben Yakinen, Dr. John Henrik Clark. Let's just take these two names for instance. Two brilliant historians, two ancestors who are no longer with us, whose books could be reaching hundreds of thousands of children in the American educational system, even if it's just black kids. Information and knowledge that they could benefit from. Those books, you cannot find them in any school. Dr. Claude Anderson, another historian, a brother who is still with us in his 80s, battling to get this information through to the world, especially the black people. His books, Black Labor, White Wealth, the Dirty Little Secrets 1 and 2, the Black History Reader. These books are detrimental to the education of black people. And not just black people, to America, period, because Americans are some of the most ignorant people when it comes to their own history. There are people outside of America that know more about American history than Americans do. Do you realize that I've found out, and this is even people in the school system, most Americans can't even find North America on a fucking globe or map. I have talked to people who were educators who did not know where the east coast of the United States was. This is the country that we live in. Are you fucking kidding me? But the gay BCs, this is what the fuck our children need to learn about. They actually have LGBTQ lessons being taught in public schools, but yet black history gets a fucking paragraph. A fucking paragraph. A paragraph A paragraph. You hear what I'm saying? A paragraph. Well, let me stop this real quick. Sorry about that, guys. No. Can't even get a paragraph. It's already paused. Cool. Can't even get a paragraph in any social studies or history book in any of these schools. The things that I guarantee you, if you read Dr. Claude Anderson's books, you will learn more about Black history from Dr. Claude Anderson in his books than any other any teacher that you've ever had teach you about Black history. Any white teacher, I would say, without a doubt. But yet, but yet, but yet, but yet, we don't see that happening. What we see is a push to teach our children about gay sex, the gay BCs, and all that kind of shit. This is what we see, a push to teach our children about shit that they really don't need to know about. Why the fuck is it important for us to understand and know about, why is it important for Black children to know the gay BCs and about transgenders and homosexual sex? Why is it more important for them to know about these things white supremacy want them to know about more than their own fucking history? Why is that? History does not start for Black people in this country. We did not start out in this existence as fucking slaves. Our people are more than that. And these Black children do not know that. But white supremacy does not care. White people are not arguing for these things. They are not arguing that our educational system is being fucking corrupted on a daily basis. They are not arguing for these facts. They will argue, though, that their kids don't need to know anything about Lewis Lattimore. Their kids don't need to know anything about George Washington Carver, Thurgood Marshall, Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, you know what I'm saying, Latif Overture, you know what I'm saying? You don't need to know anything about these people. You don't need to know about the Black people who erected the kingdoms of Kush. You know what I'm saying? All the Kushite empires. Our children don't need to know this, but they need to know the gay BCs. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Let me see something, man. Black teachers for Black kids. Let me see what images come up for this. Black teachers for Black kids. Listen, when I was going to school, in elementary school, in the school period, but in elementary school, I was fortunate enough to have Black teachers in elementary school. Every fucking teacher in my elementary school was Black. Every single one of them was a Black woman. Every single one of them. Not saying that they weren't any male teachers. I don't remember them. But I remember every single teacher in my school, in elementary school, was Black. When I went to junior high school, I went to Catholic school. I think I remember one white teacher in St. Catherine's. When I went to St. Francis, there were a couple more white teachers, but the majority of the teachers in my schools were always Black. Middle school had a Black principal. When I went to military school, the general who ran the military school was a Black man, and most of my sergeants were Black. I've been surrounded by Black educators all my life, so I am for Black children being taught by Black people. Because let's face it, we're the only ones who truly give a fuck about our kids. As we have seen in recent history, white people don't give a fuck about our children. They don't care about our children. Anytime white people want to push the gay BCs and LGBTQ sexuality and learning into the schools on our children, no, that is the exact opposite of what the fuck our children need. Our children do not need that. Our children do not need to be exposed to that kind of shit. I'm sorry. I don't want my kid doesn't need to learn about how to become a fucking transsexual. My kid doesn't need to learn about the gay BCs. The ABCs are 26 letters. It doesn't need to be gayified. It doesn't even need to be heterosexual. They're just fucking letters that teach you about grammar and how to spell. That's it. My kids don't need the fucking alphabet gayified for them. My kids don't need to know more about transsexual lifestyles and homosexual sex than they do their own fucking history. My kids do not need to know about those things more than their own history. And for a white person to make that determination and say that this is what your kids need as an education, fuck white teachers and fuck white schools. Our children are not learning in these schools. They're not. Dr. Claude Anderson right now has material that is relevant to contemporary times, relevant to this day. And fucking public schools in this country won't even listen to this man. Will not listen to him. But yet, it's important that our children learn about the gay BCs. It's important that and if a kid objects to having a transsexual or homosexual lesson, that kid is reprimanded and suspended. There was a story on the African Diaspora channel about a little sister over in the UK getting suspended from school, being punished because she didn't feel comfortable getting her fucking homosexual lessons for the day. She didn't feel comfortable with that. And sorry, but I believe that sexuality is something that your parents need to teach you about. Sexuality and acceptance of other people is what your parents need to teach you about. Homosexuality, the LGBTQ community, their struggles are not fucking, they do not contrast at all with the black struggle. LGBTQ and homosexual issues are not parallels to the insults, the fucking, just the horrendous treatment that my people continue to be subject to in this country. Our fucking paths are not the fucking same. Our stories are not the same. Our struggles are not the same. Being a gay person is not equal to being a fucking black person in this country. Because at the end of the day, you gay motherfuckers still got white supremacy on your fucking side, as you can see. You can get a book published called The Gay BCs and have it in public schools, but true knowledge about history written by a black person will never breach the fucking school walls. And you telling me that's not white supremacy? If that book was written by a black man, would it be in school? It wouldn't be in no motherfucking white schools, I can tell you that much. And even if they did allow the book, what if that same gay Batman wrote a book that was totally historically accurate and about black historical figures? I bet you white people would not accept that book because they haven't yet. They have not yet. Anytime we live in a country where black identity extremists is now an actual thing, that now if you identify with your blackness too much, you could be considered a terrorist threat. They will actually say that. Identifying with your blackness, now, mind you, the FBI said that white people were the major terrorist threat in this country. They are, without a doubt. They are a terrorist threat. The only terrorist threat in this country. But yet black men are on the terrorist watch list, or rather I should say black identity extremists are on the terrorist watch list when black men are not known to commit terrorist acts in this country? Are you fucking kidding me? My kid needs to know about the gay BCs and transgender whatever the fuck. That's what my kids need to know about more than their own history and where the fuck we come from. This is why, see, I used to say 75%, then 80%, then 90%, then 95%. Now I'm at a staunch 99%. Now, whatever fraction of the 99% you want to add into that, you can. But I'm going to say 99% of white people are white supremacists. Even if they aren't racially biased, they still believe in white supremacy. They still believe in white people controlling the system. They still believe in that. They still believe that they should have an advantage over everybody else. Irrespective of how liberal or democratic they say that they only give a fuck about the preservation of themselves and their way of life. I've only seen in my life 2 actual living white people who I actually think care more about humanity than they do their whiteness. The only other person I only heard of, John Brown, died fighting for black people. Him and his sons died. Other white people killed them because they did not believe in slavery and they did not believe in white supremacy. Robin DiAngelo and Jane Elliott are 2 other white people, 2 white women who speak out against white supremacy and white superiority. They speak out against these things. They speak out against these things. And hold on for a second, because that's fucking annoying shit. Fucking tree trimmers and shit, man. They would start doing that shit right now when I'm trying to do this. But anyway, pardon me for that interruption. Now, Jane Elliott and Robin DiAngelo. Jane Elliott has done has been doing this work for over 40 years now, since the 70s. The brown eyes, blue eyes study. It's pretty decent shit. Here's a white person who puts white people on blast for their white supremacy and doesn't make any excuses about it, and white people hate her for it. Robin DiAngelo, her tactic is a little bit, her way of doing it is a little bit more tactful, but I know white people and I know the nature of white supremacy, and I'm sure she gets all the hate in the fucking world for what she's doing. Without a doubt, because white people always will hate anybody who wants to educate people truthfully and actually be dedicated to truth and knowledge. They do not like it. Everything is about misrepresenting the truth, misrepresenting actual factual evidence and reality, and twisting shit around in reverse symbology. Everything white supremacy does is about that kind of shit. So I urge people. I've made videos before about the metrosexual agenda, and there's another video that I want to do too. The new masculinity. A GQ. This is a cover of GQ. It's called The New Masculinity, with that dude Pharrell with blonde hair. Again, blonde hair with some long ass fucking coat dress or some shit. It's the most disgusting shit I've ever seen. The new masculinity basically is soft ass metrosexual black men. That's the new masculinity. There is no new masculinity. There is only masculinity. You're either a fucking man or you're a fucking pussy. There is no new masculinity. There's no fucking such thing as new masculinity. That's stupid. That's dumb. That's dumb. That's dumb. The new masculinity is what the fuck masculinity is. A product of testosterone. Masculinity is based on testosterone. Men have testosterone. We're going to be masculine. There is no new masculinity. What they're doing is expanding the metrosexual agenda. What they're trying to tell you now is being a soft ass dude is the same as is the new masculinity. Look, girls like this now. Look. Be this kind of guy. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Guys, if you are with a woman who thinks it's cute for you to act like a bitch, get the fuck away from her, please. Get away from her. Because that's a broad that want to suck on a gay dick. I'm sorry, but she like shittles on her balls. Get the fuck away from her. Any woman who thinks it's cute for you to exhibit any type of homosexual tendencies or metrosexual tendencies, if you a dude that goes and get your fucking nails and feet done, you should really question your fucking manhood. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck how rich. If you walking around getting your motherfucking feet and nails done and you going to the beauty salon to get your hair done, you should really take a real close look at who the fuck you are as a man. Seriously. But let me get back to the subject at hand, and then I shall. I love this picture right here. I love the picture. Beating black children. I didn't hear about that. But this is what a black teacher, this is what not having a black teacher in your schools will do to your black children. It will bore the fuck out of them. Because white people aren't teaching our children anything relevant to being black. You understand this, right? They're not teaching our children anything relevant to being black. So, again, I urge black people, again, please educate your children. Please do this shit. Please educate your children. Please get them away from these fucking white schools and these white teachers. Please do this. Look, you see these pictures right here? Our children do not need a fucking education or transgender anything. Our children don't need to know the gay BCs. Our children don't need to know how to have sex as homosexuals. We live in a country where they didn't want to fucking teach high school kids fucking sex education, but now you're introducing homosexual sex education into fucking elementary schools? That is fucking ridiculous. And then you please tell me that's not white supremacy. You won't teach black kids about black education, but you'll teach black kids in elementary school about homosexual sex, but when they get to high school, you tell them that they can't learn anything about sex education. All they can learn about is fucking homosexual sex, and not just sex education and how to protect themselves from becoming teenage parents, but you can learn how to butt fuck somebody. Get the fuck out of here with that shit, man. This LGBTQ shit, just like this Me Too feminist bullshit, is all a fucking scam cooked up by white supremacy to continue to make us docile while they steamroll our asses and tell us how to be white and teach us how to be white. Well, I say fuck the LGBTQ community for that bullshit. I say fuck feminism. I say fuck the Me Too movement, because feminism had nothing to do with black women. You have never, ever been under the boots of black men. That is not how our culture is fucking designed. Africa is the only continent on the planet. Africans are the only people on the planet who actually worship their women as gods. We're the only ones who have done that, who worship our women. We're the only ones who have done that. Get the fuck out of here. This will tell you. Look at how sick white people and white supremacy is. 70% of white women voted for Donald Trump after he said, well, I'm rich. I could just walk up to him and grab him by the pussy. President Pussy Grabber said this. And then white women voted for him. He didn't say this after they voted. He said it and then they voted. This is the mentality of the people that we're dealing with. They don't give a fuck about you or yours. All they give a fuck about is theirs. Irrespective of how fucked up theirs is, they will always support theirs and not yours. I'm going to go ahead and cut the video because I could talk for the next fucking 3 hours about this topic. But again, please, black people, educate your children. Please. Please educate your children. I have on my YouTube channel a playlist called Black History Every Day. I need to start getting back into it. I've just been busy. But there are videos there for you to listen to for Black history. I will get back into producing those videos again now that I have new software on my laptop, but we'll get back into that. But please, 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 go to Dr. Claude Anderson's YouTube. You know, look up his books, Black Labor, White Wealth, Dirty Little Secrets 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? Look up his information. Look up his think tank, the Harvest Institute. Please educate your children. Please stop letting white people fill our kids' head with bullshit. Please, because the shit they teach our kids don't work for us in a white society. The shit they teach our kids only works for their kids in the society. I'm out.